Well, thank you so much, Ellen. I appreciate that. And yes, the intention is to prepare our hearts for World Labyrinth Day. So I'm just going to lead you into a little bit of centering, a little bit of grounding, if you know it that way. And then I will share the intention with you. So, in your own faith tradition, in the way that you like to practice, going within, settling in, centering in, grounding, however you know it, take a moment to go ahead and sit up straight in your chair. Perhaps put your hands on your lap, either up or down. Make sure your feet are firm on the ground. Close your eyes if you'd like. If you want to turn off your video, go ahead and do that as well. Relax your face and just drop your shoulders. And let's be present in this moment. And let's be present to one another as we prepare our hearts for World Labyrinth Day. Connect with the rhythm of your breath, and with a few deep cleansing breaths, exhale what needs to be let go of right now. Any thoughts or feelings or body sensations that are keeping you from simply relaxing and being present in this time and purpose. Let that go. Go ahead and place your hand on your heart as an act of connecting into your heart space and that divine spark within. Keep noticing the beating of your heart. Keep in rhythm with your own breath, letting go of active thinking, and welcome spaciousness. Continue some slow, deep breathing, quieting your mind and opening to peace. Feel your cleansing breath and rhythmic heartbeat unifying your whole being. With every in breath, breathe in peace. Imagine your World Labyrinth Day walk and breathe into that day and feel your heart expand with love. Imagine communities coming together. With every exhale, breathe out love into our world. Let this breath flow in and from your heart, inhaling peace and exhaling love. Let's take a few breaths together, inhaling peace and exhaling love. And one more, inhaling peace and exhaling love. So continue your own rhythmic breathing as we slowly move into our intention with compassion and kindness as we work together for the highest good of World Labyrinth Day. So I'm going to read the intention to you 3 times in the style of Lectio Divino. And the first time, I just want you to listen with the ears of your heart. The hearts of the hosts and participants are prepared for World Labyrinth Day. All labyrinths are connected for the highest good of our world. Now, on this second reading, I want you to repeat it after me. Whisper it to yourself. The hearts of the hosts and participants are prepared for World Labyrinth Day. All labyrinths are connected for the highest good of our world. And on this third and final reading, let it entrain deeply into your heart. Let it flow from the top of your crown chakra down through your throat, through your heart, through your solar plexus, right down through your root chakra and down to the earth. Let it encompass you. The hearts of the hosts and participants are prepared for World Labyrinth Day. All labyrinths are connected for the highest good of our world. Amen. Namaste. Aho and blessed be. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmel. That was lovely. So now I have the privilege of introducing you to Chris Katzenmeyer, whom I think most of you already know, but she's the executive director of the Legacy Labyrinth Project. I'm lucky enough to be able to work with Chris pretty closely because I'm the director of Labyrinth Activism for the Legacy Labyrinth Project, and I consider it a real honor and privilege to be able to work with her and Tisha. Tisha is the director of the Legacy Labyrinths for the Legacy Labyrinth Project. So, Chris, thank you so much for the program that you've put together today. And I was lucky enough to hear it earlier, so I know you're in for a treat. And I know it took time, and we appreciate you being here and sharing this with us. Thank you. Take it away.
Thank you, Ellen. I always love these introductions because my heart opens when Ellen says those words because I feel exactly the same way about her and Tisha and our board and Carrie. Right, there's Carrie on our board. So yeah, I am just happy to be here. World Labyrinth Day is a big deal for me, and I think it's become a bigger deal probably for everybody who's in the labyrinth world because of Ellen and the committee that's been working together collaboratively for about the last 4 years. And so we get to do this kind of stuff. And so I'm really happy. So thank you, Ellen, very much. Well, World Labyrinth Day is about 2 months away, almost exactly. And today the presentation is about the biology of heart coherence on World Labyrinth Day. And I'll get to all of that in just a moment. But I first want to share with you my beliefs and background on this subject and let you know the big picture of why I think heart coherence is so important to all of us, and especially on World Labyrinth Day. First of all, I am not a scientist. What I am is a very curious labyrinth walker who loves science, who loves research, and also loves the mystery of the labyrinth. And back in 2014, when I started the Legacy Labyrinth Project and we began energetically connecting and building labyrinths around the world, I had a sense that what we were doing with this network of labyrinths was all about connecting people, ideas, and intentions. I didn't know how yet, but that was definitely the feeling. And I wasn't exactly sure at the time what it meant, but definitely stayed open to that. After building and energetically connecting a few of these labyrinths in the network, I realized something, and it's probably nothing that you haven't realized as well, but I realized that for years, we have been made to feel separate, separate in our humanity. So we have things like us and them, and you and me, and my God's better than your God, and all of that kind of separation. And for some reason, that just stayed as kind of an ache in my heart. And I know right now in our country, and in other places in the world, we are definitely facing this separation, this duality of better than or less than. The haves and have-nots pretty much sums it up. But my belief is that if we continue to be a humanity that sees separation as normal, we only get more separation. And if we see a humanity that acts like separation is the only way there is, my belief is that that gap in the separation will only continue to widen. So, with this strong belief of seeing this and even seeing I think it's almost a pandemic of separation that we are all living in our humanity. I believe that it's really important that we find a way to not only demonstrate, but experience and live into oneness. And it's to show that separation is not optimal for our planet's health, for our individual health, or even for our community's health. So I am just thrilled that that's what TLS has for the World Labyrinth Day intention, walk as one. So I'm going to try to put those two together for us in the next few moments in my talk. Um, and then we're at the end, we're going to do experiential as well. So this part of the program will be in our heads, and the second part of the program will be in our hearts. But let's first talk about the biology of heart coherence. And one other thing before we do, I believe, and again, it's just my belief, but I believe that the heart is a portal to oneness. It's not the only portal to oneness, but it certainly is. And I thank you, Carmel, for starting us out with that expansion. So, Susie, do you want to do the next slide? So here we are. This is just an introduction of what we're doing. And I wanted to, let's see, I think it's coming up in just a minute. I wanted to make sure that that you knew that Tisha, who is our director of the Legacy Labyrinth Network, will be leading the intention and I'm sorry, the intention and the heart-brain coherence for us a little bit later. So thank you, Tish. Let's go to the next slide. So I want to point out that this is our heart. It's got different colors, as you can see, but we're going to look at the yellow part. This is what they call the heart brain, the brain of the heart. And it's all made up of neurons, neurotransmitters, and nerve cells. And to understand this is to really understand more about human behavior and heart and mental health. It's all connected. This heart brain may provide insights into how emotions and thoughts influence our physiological responses as well. The heart, right here, the heart brain sends more signals to the brain up on top of our head, than the brain sends to the heart. So it is a very active center. And I'll talk more about what it does in just a little bit. But this is also an area that biologists have discovered that can send signals to the brain about an event before it happens, which is what we call intuition, of course. So very important part of our heart. Let's go to the next one, Susie, please. So the heart and the brain, as you can see in the picture, there's a yellow kind of a vein looking thing. This is called the vagus nerve. And this is how the heart and the brain communicate. There's chemical messengers that go up and down, and neurotransmitters that go up and down, and they influence the emotions from our heart and our brain. Let's go to the next one, Susie. So actually, this is a very true statement. The brain thinks, but the heart knows. Put simply, the brain in our head is designed to solve problems. And it is always helping us make decisions like logic and comfort, safety, and what we know intellectually all come from the brain in our head. Heart brain tends to make love-based decisions, such as love, passion, purpose, faith, growth. For the last 15 years, I've had the honor of teaching mindfulness to people in chronic pain. And one of the things that we do a lot is we do a lot of heart coherence work. And when I ask the participants to ask a question to their brain, such as, what is my highest purpose? They get one answer. When we go into heart coherence and we ask the same question to their heart, what is my highest purpose? Very often the answer is very different. So I invite you to try that sometime. Just to ask your head the question and then ask your heart the question. You might be surprised about how different that is. The heart will give you a love-based decision. And what this picture is kind of depicting is we want to have a balance. Right now, we're very, as a society and a culture, we're very tilted towards the brain and what the brain thinks and what the brain wants us to do and what the brain can do for us. What we're suggesting today and have been for a while is let's look more at the heart. Let's look at the heart brain and what it can bring us and what it can do for us. I believe it's, again, the portal to oneness. So let's go to the next slide, Susie. So you've probably seen this slide before. When we activate the energy of our heart, we expand our electromagnetic field. So we can just assume that these two people have just done the heart brain meditation and they've activated the energy of their heart. So the energy of a heart can extend about 10 feet away from the body. If we had even better tools to measure that, it might even be further. But they're saying, the scientists are saying about 10 feet. And this, as you notice in this picture, I'll bring your attention to the very center. There's like an overlap of energies there. In the Hindu, well, a lot of Eastern spiritual traditions, this particular space is called the Vesica Piscis. And the Vesica Piscis is a key and fundamental space or design in sacred geometry. So why I bring this up and why I think this is so interesting is that this particular space, the Vesica Piscis, is also defined as containing divine harmony and balance. So what I like to think about is when we walk a labyrinth in heart coherence, we are actually, when we pass each other, in the labyrinth, we are actually sharing very clearly our heart coherence energy with each other. And if we can remember, and not that it's crucial or that you have to today, but if you can remember that in that energy overlap, there is the space of sacred space for possibility. The other biological fact about this radiating of the electromagnetic field is that if one of these persons, I'm sorry, the one on the left, let's say, is in the high frequency of heart coherence, and the second person is coming in and maybe hasn't done the heart coherence meditation, the one on the left, the frequency can oftentimes raise the frequency of the other person, which is quite amazing, I think. And it always just feels better in the body when your heart is in coherence. Just always feels better. So let's go to the next one, Susie. So when we practice, and when we practice today too, what's going to happen in our heart brain or to the heart brain, in the heart brain meditation, our chemistry starts to change. It's activated to be in harmony with the rest of our body. And this is where the physical benefits begin to show up. When we're in heart coherence, we are in wellness. We are in homeostasis, and our body loves that. It's when we're incoherent, our body tends to react chemically to frustration and anger and things like that, which will be illustrated here in just a minute. But when our heart becomes active during heart coherence, it sends signals to slow down heart rate and promote relaxation. It increases neurotransmitters and decreases the release of stress hormones like cortisol. So in other words, heart coherence is really good for us, and it's really good for our health. And why would we not want to do it? That's my editorial for today. It stimulates positive emotions like gratitude and love and compassion. And again, it just feels good. The chemistry moving in just happens to just help us to feel good. So let's go to the next one. So you've probably seen this slide or this picture many times. This is the frequency chart. And I use it because I want to illustrate a couple things about our hearts and our frequencies. And the chemistry changes our frequency, especially when we integrate an elevated emotion such as peace, love, joy, and gratitude. And you can see those at the top of this particular graph. Everything in the universe emits a vibrational energy, and it can be measured. Every emotion has a frequency too. So maintaining a healthy frequency is important for overall well-being. And while a drop in frequency might be associated with illness or stress. So meaning if we are in fear for a long time, this might have an effect on our health. there are no bad frequencies. Let me just make that clear. There's no bad frequencies. All frequencies are important and all frequencies can inform us. I wanted to talk just briefly on this slide about resonance. When we get exposed to external frequencies like each other, when we are walking a labyrinth in heart-brain coherence, we can experience something called resonance, which is proven to have therapeutic effects. The definition of resonance is the occurrence of a vibrating object, such as possibly you feeling joy in a labyrinth, causing another object, possibly me, to vibrate at that same frequency. So again, back to the picture we saw a little bit earlier, when we are in high frequency, we influence each other. We influence each other's vibrational frequency. We bring it up most of the time. Resonance, or everyone vibrating at the same frequency, is very powerful, very powerful. So let's move on to the next slide. This is a slide about Dr. Bruce Lipton, and I'm sure there are many fans here of Dr. Lipton. He's a leading cellular biologist and researcher in quantum mechanics. He's written lots of books. He's got lots of YouTubes, and he's wonderful to listen to. He's very funny and super smart. And he has come up with some really interesting science lately, or lately he's come up with some very interesting science. And it's about the field. And he says we are always broadcasting to the field through our chemistry. Our chemistry signals allow us to send and receive information both locally and non-locally. So locally and non-locally is like here, and non-locally would be, somewhere else out there someplace. What I think this is so fascinating is because our vibrating nerve cells and neurotransmitters, neurons, protons, biophotons, when they become in resonance with a collective, again, would be like us on a labyrinth in a high frequency, it becomes a type of a transmitter that broadcasts to the field. Now, take that in just a little bit. Becomes a type of transmitter that broadcasts to the field. So what is the field? In this case, we're talking about, in quantum physics, there's a term, the field. It's where matter and energy behave at the same atomic and subatomic level. But I think Rumi, our dear Rumi, says it best. He says in one of his poems, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. I love this. I love this. And because every time I hear it or read it, I think of World Labyrinth Day, seriously, because that's where we meet. We will meet there on World Labyrinth Day if we're doing all of this kind of heart coherence work, and maybe even if we're not doing the heart coherence work. The field is everything. It's the universe. It's God. It's where everything is everywhere, in and out of the cosmos and this planet, is the field. And when you hear the words or the statements like attracts like, or the law of attraction, this is what we're talking about. Dr. Lipton also says or believes that all of our cells, all of the cells that we have in our body, are like a community. And each cell has its own brain, its own reason for being there. And he says, you may consider yourself an individual, but as a cell biologist, I can tell you that you are in truth a cooperative community of approximately 50 trillion single-celled citizens. So it is our cells that really are moving with the chemistry and through our heart that allows us to do all of this heart-brain amazing work that we will be doing together in just a few moments. Let's go to the next slide, Susie, please. So here we are. If we could imagine that on the right part of this picture, that's us, all of us, walking on World Labyrinth Day, walking the labyrinth someplace on World Labyrinth Day. And when we all get to the middle here, we will be releasing the energy of our intention. And then the picture on the left is representing where and how that energy possibly can be received. When there is a collective of walkers walking at the same time in expanded and focused heart energy, the collective becomes a very strong, expanded energetic force, both sending and receiving, which is really interesting to me because as we send our frequency out, we also will have it come back to us. And you've heard us, Ellen, especially talk about the Taurus field. And when you send energy out, it does come back. So a lot of times when we practice heart coherence, we can have profound feelings of compassion, love, a lot of the higher frequencies. So let's go to the next one. So here's our logo for World Labyrinth Day. And my question is, so what does all of this have to do with World Labyrinth Day? And my answer is everything. Let's go to the next slide. So if we were to go to the HeartMath Institute, either webpage or to their center, we would hear things like this. The HeartMath Institute is fabulous. If you've never heard of them or read any of their things, I highly recommend them. What they say about heart coherence is it reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, strengthens our immune system, facilitates the repair of DNA, improves metabolic functions, aids in tissue repair, and can alleviate chronic conditions. So again, the question is, why would we not want to do this? That's the scientific part of what they're talking about with heart coherence. Bottom of the slide here says, it also aligns you with your inner wisdom and interconnectedness, which is, to me, World Labyrinth Day. Aligns us with our inner wisdom as we walk the labyrinth and helps us to feel that connection to the one. Let's go to the next slide. So when we do the heart coherence meditation in just a few minutes, our heart rate or heart rate rhythms, heart rhythm pattern, might look like the top graph. This is incoherence, what incoherence would look like if graphed. This is a picture of something like frustration or anxiety or worry, irritation, some of those lower frequencies that we saw on the frequency graph. When we go into heart coherence, we have these nice, flowing, round kind of rhythms. And this is the rhythms of our heart that promotes optimal performance. This is how we want to be as much as we can every day, all the time. These are positive emotions. These are appreciation, love, and courage. So we will be getting into this state in just a few minutes, but I just wanted to show you how it looks. Let's go to the next slide. So this is a big, long, wordy slide, and I'm just going to kind of pick it apart for us. This is some of the research that both Baylor University and the Legacy Labyrinth Project partnered on for World Labyrinth Day in 2020, 2021, and 2022. And this is just a small sample of the research. And I pulled this sample out because it really speaks to the oneness part that I've been talking about. And remember at the very beginning of the talk, I shared that I believe that humanity can heal itself from some of this separation by understanding and practicing being one. Some of the characteristics of oneness is knowing that you are all connected to all things, all connected to everything, and that the great field is what connects us all. Oneness is a feeling that we are in our highest self, that we have a feeling of unity for all, and that we feel like we're belonging and knowing that everything is sacred. So those are some of the elements of oneness, and I want to bring your attention to the 3 bullet points with the percentages. These are the percentages of what people said in their questionnaires over all 3 years of the big connection. 78% felt strongly that this walk was a sacred experience. 81% felt multiple levels of connectedness to one another. And 2/3 of participants felt a direct connection to a higher power. Well, these are elements of oneness. So I was so excited to see, and maybe some of you participated in the big connection. And if you did, I thank you very much. But looking at these results and looking at the elements of oneness, I think we're onto something here. And I think it's something very, very sacred and important. Just a couple quotes from people. And we had 1,000 participants, or actually over 1,000 participants. So these are just 2 quotes, and these are 2 quotes of many saying very similar things. I felt peace, connected to God, and encouraged that people worldwide were walking the labyrinth as one. The connection of spirit was strong, even in these seemingly difficult times. I felt a strong connection to everyone worldwide today. So there you go. Let's go to the next slide. The next slide is all about intention. And Lynn McTaggart, if you haven't read her work, she's written many, many books and over 300 studies on intention, scientific experiments on intention. And this is just a quote from her book, The Intention Experiment. A single collective directed thought is all it takes to change the world. And what she means by that is you have to focus your heart energy if you are using your heart energy to send the frequency out. You have to focus it, and that's what an intention does. And it's some people, I'll call it the secret sauce, but it's an intention. And I want to be really clear because it's something that we've been learning recently. So I want to share it as knowledge and information that we definitely stand behind. And that is that the wording of an intention is important, but it's not what manifests, what or helps manifest the intention. What helps manifest the intention is the emotion that you have behind the intention. So we'll practice that in just a few minutes, and hopefully that'll make a little bit more sense. But we have this heart energy and we want to release it and send it, but we have to focus it. And so to have an expanded emotion is one part of it, but to then have that expanded emotion behind your intention is the secret sauce of how to make this work. So let's go to the next slide. So our friend Albert Einstein says, all of science is nothing more than the refinement of everyday thinking, which I take as, in other words, what biology is scientifically showing us today. Many for centuries have known it intuitively. So again, it's our head and our heart. What our hearts know might be something that we've known longer than maybe our heads are just now telling us. That's really what that says. But what I'm trying to share is that they work together, and we can make them work more together if we have that intention. So let's go to the next slide. So you've been listening for about 15 minutes. Thank you. 20 minutes. Thank you so much. And we've all been on our brain to listen and to synthesize the words in the slides. So right now, we're going to flip this a little bit, and we're going to get into our hearts. And we're going to have an elevated emotion, and we're going to walk a labyrinth in this way. Again, I just want to be really clear that the Legacy Labyrinth Project isn't saying this is the only way to walk a labyrinth at all. There's many ways to walk a labyrinth. We're just sharing with you the biology of the heart that we understand it today, and a little bit, experience of how to do this. And again, this is only if you want to for World Labyrinth Day. But I encourage you and invite you to try. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to turn this over to Tisha, and who will lead us in our meditation. And right before I do, if you can see the incoherent heart on the left, that is kind of maybe where we are. And after we do the heart coherence meditation, we're looking to have it look more like that. So you can keep that as a visual if you like as well. So thank you so much for being in your brains with me. I'm going to turn it over to Tisha to come into the heart. Tish?
Thanks, Chris. Welcome, everybody. I would like to take this time right now to invite you to turn off your cameras if you feel called to, and to mute yourselves before we begin our meditation today. So,
Would love to hear any thoughts or questions also for Chris at this time that you have, or anything that bubbled up for you during your walk, or any ideas for World Labyrinth Day. Floor is open in these last few minutes that we have.
Any experiences?
Carrie.
Hi. It's hard to come back, I'm telling you. So I needed to just lay over the labyrinth when we started, and I just felt this kind of emerging vibration, right? And then I just found my hands just going up and over and down, and then there was blue light that just kept going out, just on both sides. It just kept, I guess my hands are pulsating, so kind of like that, you know? And um, it was like, I don't know if I felt connected to everybody, if I'm just making that up in my head, but it seemed like that, you know? So it was beautiful. It was just beautiful. So thank you so much.
When we did this morning, Carrie, someone else shared that they felt the blue light
Really?
in
Okay.
their walk. Yeah,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
yeah.
No.
Just wanted to express how wonderful it was. I did a finger labyrinth walk with the Charts style, and I hadn't finger walked one for a while. I was using different, different styles, and it felt so wonderful. And usually, when I do the Charts, I really feel the brain and the gut feeling. But this time, I really felt more of the heart connection and being in the four chambers of the heart, Christine, and I really appreciated the slide that you showed about the heart and the yellow area of the heart that transmits, and the vagus nerve that transmits. So I really felt that. And all day today, I've been able to just pick up on underlining frequency. Today, I was at a baby shower, and I could just feel an underlying joy. And not just because the women were talking and having fun, there was an underlying joy. Um, and then during the finger walk, just a real underlying peace with a little bit of, like, I want to say, sparkle and fun underneath it, just excited underneath it, which was just a lovely feeling. And then, I often pay attention to where I land when I'm in the center of the lotus or the rose, if you will, and the third petal often is said to be, animal, if you're going to look at the 6 days of creation. And I landed an animal, and I knew I was supposed to be there because of just the work that I've been doing with more than human life, just connecting with animals and what have you, and just my need to make sure I spend enough time in nature. So I was really tickled that I landed up in nature. So I just wanted to share underlying peace and a little sparkle.
Sparkle. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, all your words uh, feel very vibrational. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool.
Arlene.
what I noticed
was that uh, I can often feel if I'm more heavily in my head than my heart. And this time I felt completely integrated,
Mm,
just completely integrated. And when focusing about on the circle, I felt that it was, uh, although it completely integrated within myself, but also a part of this integrated circle. And I just had not experienced something this strongly and still been able to articulate it.
you
It
were
was
integrated then for sure.
it's an amazing experience. And I know the next time I walk our labyrinth, that's that I realize I'm going to carry this into that. And I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stuff.
Okay,
You're
so
good.
normally when I do a meditation, I don't get into it, but I have to say I was kind of unfocused at the end because I was pulled into the labyrinth sooner than the meditation ended. So that was amazing in and of itself for me. But we all seen those pictures where there's the earth and then there's people all around it holding hands around the perimeter of it. Well, I had that image, but instead of holding hands, they were raising them up like we would in the center of the labyrinth, like little
Mm.
antennas into the field. That's
Ah.
kind of like what it reminded me of. Everybody was connecting to the field. So and radiating love and peace and joy and all those high heart energies. It was really lovely. And in the background was birdsong and like, gentle winds and just birds singing. So it was
Mm.
lovely for me. And, as guiding the meditation, sometimes I don't quite get into it, but wow, this evening I really did. So,
Cool. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, wonderful. That's all beautiful stuff we can take and remember as the days go on, our connections to each other. Mary Beth, do you have something to add?
Do. I had a day today where I started with Reiki, which is that connection that you talked about, and then was involved in a sound bath playing a crystal pyramid, and then I had this. And when you started talking about um, uh, getting drawn into the meditation, when you said it was time to come back, I just finished going around at once. So it was like I just wanted to be a part of that. There were no boundaries, if you will. And I think it was an interesting experience. Hmm.
Mm.
It sounds like you had a really good day.
I feel like there should be a glow or something, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was a really good day.
Absolutely.
It was a really good day.
Wonderful.
Hmm.
I'd
Good.
So
like to
thank
point
you.
something out, Mary Beth. Yes, when you use the words no boundaries,
Hmm.
that's a oneness element as well. I didn't say it before, but
Hmm.
when you're feeling no limitations, no boundaries, that's a oneness
Right.
element too. Cool. Yeah.
Hmm.
Anything else before we close? Great. Well, this has been wonderful. Chris, again, thank you so much for putting this together for us.
Absolutely.
As you have heard, we deeply appreciate it, and it's affected our hearts, not just our heads, deeply. And I'm going to pass it over to you to close us out.
Okie doke. Did we want to do any announcements or did we do those already?
Well,
Did
just a
we do
reminder of the dates of April 5th, March
okay.
18th, and to go to worldlabyrinthday.org to find those registration links and those dates. They're all on there. Oh, there we go. There's our Susie putting it all up. Um, yep,
Yeah.
worldlabyrinthday.org. Go to the events page. We hope to see you on April 5th and on March 18th too.
Yes.
And don't forget to, if you're having an event on World Labyrinth Day, please record it on the website. It's very easy to do, and we have
Yes.
maps now where you can see all of the events that are taking place. It's exciting. And thank you to Susie for managing that for us this year. We
Yes.
appreciate that.
Okay, Susie, do you have there it is. Well, I started this poem a little bit earlier, but I so believe that Rumi knew about labyrinths. This poem just, says it all to me. But before I read it, I just want to say thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing. That is so part of the connectednesses that we're talking about, and that you can trust. You can totally trust what happened today in your walk as real. It's not anything but real. So thank you for sharing that. It makes it more real for the rest of us. So here's Rumi. I would like to title this The Labyrinth, but it's not. But he says again, out beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about ideas, language, and even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. To me, that's the intention. People are going back and forth across the door sill where the two worlds touch. That's the labyrinth. And the door is round and open. That's again the labyrinth. Don't go back to sleep. So I hope to see you in the field on World Labyrinth Day.
You will.